Well, I joined the Guard in 1981. That was a time where I made a decision. It was 9 of us growing up. I had a huge family, and I always see my mom going through so much. She struggled with a lot of things, working, taking care of 9 kids. So I always wanted to do something different. And I said I was going to join the military. So I came home from school one day, and I told my mom I'm joining the military. And she said, "You're not joining the military." And like a couple of days later, this old olive green car pulled up, and I left, and I joined the military in 1981. Seeing my son wanted to be a part of what I was a part of, and my daughter was going to be a part of it too, but she didn't want to. I'll never forget, she took the test, and she failed the test purposely because she didn't want to be in the military, because she thought that's what I wanted. But what I wanted for them to be a part of something they wanted to be. And I know my son always watched me, and I know he was always seeing what I did, and he wanted to be a part of it. So I encouraged him, if this is what you want, do it. And he chose the National Guard. And he made a great decision, because as of after that moment, he never did anything but make me proud.
I joined the National Guard. I started out in high school. I took JROTC. As a kid, my mom was always, she's been in the military pretty much my whole life. She's got more time in than I've been alive, so my whole memory of her has been in the National Guard. And I look up to my mom a lot, so I would say it's probably following in her footsteps. I think she set a good example being a soldier, and I wanted to do the same thing. Her serving, I think it's a big part of her personality. And like I said before, because I wasn't born when she got in, so she's been in the Guard my whole life. The parts of her that she got instilled in her from the National Guard, she automatically instilled in me. So I feel like I had a lot of the values and ethics that come with being a soldier at a young age. So in some regard, I feel like I was kind of destined to do this. Serving together, it's made us closer as a mother and son team. We're the only 2 people in our family that are in the military, so we have a bond and we have an understanding of things a little bit different from the way the rest of my family does. In some instances, we can talk about things that they just don't understand. As far as being in the military and our relationship as mother and son soldiers, because of my mom, I felt like she was such a good soldier, and she had an extreme impact on the National Guard. I always try to make it a point to kind of move on my own and kind of be my own person. So for the longest, if you didn't know me, if you didn't know her, you didn't know that we were mother and son. But it wasn't because I wasn't proud of her. It's because I was so proud of her, I didn't want to live in her shadow. So I try to make it a point to establish my own footprint as a soldier. And I think she's been proud of me for that, and she's always supported it. So I think after 9/11, it made it that much more important for me to do my part. 9/11 happened in 2001. I joined in November of 2001. So it didn't have any influence on whether I was going to do it or not. It was always something that I was going to do. The fact that catastrophic event happened right before I signed up, it really had no bearing on me as far as me having any reservations about doing it. It just made me want to be a soldier that much more. And my mom supported me throughout that decision the same way. She had no intent of getting out, and she had every intention of supporting me being a soldier. And since we both became soldiers, I think we look out for each other just that way. We know we have a job to do. We know we have a part to play in this military, and we were steadfast on making sure we did what we were supposed to do and what we needed to do to be successful, individually, as a mom and son team, and for the Guard as a whole.
Seeing my son deployed was the hardest thing I've ever done. At the time he was getting deployed, I knew he was going to be deployed because I worked in mobilization. So his name came up on all these lists, and he called me this particular day and he says, "So Mama, are we going to look at apartments?" And in my mind I'm saying, "You're going to be deployed." But I didn't tell him. So seeing him deployed, knowing where he was going and knowing his job was very scary. It was a time where I was in many pieces. I didn't want my son to go. I wanted him to serve, but I didn't want him to go. And it almost made me tear up now. It was a part of me that went with him, because I remember him getting into Afghanistan, and I talked to him on the phone, and he was in tears. And he was like, "I don't know what to do. They said we just been hit and we gotta be ready." And I said, "You better man up. You better get yourself together, and you better go out there and do what you're supposed to do." And from that point on, he was trucking right along in Afghanistan. That was very impactful because our missions were 2 different missions. And both of our missions, we were outside the wire the entire time. He's outside the wire in this country, and he would send me pictures, and I was like, I can't even imagine being there. So when I went, I was civil affairs. So I was outside the wire every day. So I can only imagine, like, in my mind, I would play back, like, what did he do in a time like this? Like, what did he see when he was here? Like, it was amazing, and it was hard because some of the things I saw and some of the things I've done, I couldn't imagine him being in those situations and having to make a decision or help make a decision to keep you alive to be back home.
When I deployed, I guess to go back a little bit, it was like my first time really being away from home for any extended period of time besides going to basic and AIT. And even during that time, I was like right in Georgia. So I was never too far away from home. So in my experience, going away from my family for that first time and not being able to just reach back and see my mom or talk to her when I wanted to, it was very difficult. But over time, you learn to live with it. And then when you get back home, I think it changes you somewhat. I think it makes you a better person. So coming back and having to watch her go through everything that I went through, there was some satisfaction in knowing that I could kind of give her some pointers and make her deployment easier than mine was. But at the same time, it was still difficult having to leave my mom. And then, like, on one end, I'm looking for support when I'm deployed, but now I have to be her support and basically run the family. So in a sense, we kind of reverse roles. I became her support channel the same way she was for me when I was overseas. It was kind of an ordeal to kind of just think about knowing, like, I know that she's right here, and I know that this kind of stuff happens here. And I know when she was out there that, it was very likely that she could end up in trouble that she couldn't get out of, her or her unit. So that was a big worry for me while she was gone. And it was something that I really had to carry on my own because I didn't want to bother the rest of my family with that level of worry, So I always try to just keep it to myself, not really let her know that I felt that way about it. Just kind of keep her uplifted and keep her steadfast and having a mission to do her job and get back home to family.
I feel that Lemont is going to finish his race just as I've done. And I see that as I retire and he can see me staying in through tough times, and all those tough times and the good times, he saw them as he grew with me in my shoes. So it makes his shoes a little bit better, and I think he'll just continue to do well and be proud of what you did while you was there. From the moment my son joined the military to this very moment, I felt proud because I didn't see him joining and being a super soldier that he is. As a single parent, I try to instill in my kids the values of being a respectful citizen, a value of somebody wanting you to be a part of their team. And everybody wants him on their team because he brings a lot to the table. And with that being said, he made me proud throughout the moment he stepped in the military to this very day.